Hey, I'm Joe. Welcome to my garage. So I'm working on my Honda motorcycle. It's a CB1100F. They only made that 1 year in the US, 1983. I've got a couple engines that I'm going through. So essentially I've got 3 engines and I'm trying to make 2 good ones out of the pile of 3. I had issues with one of my engines. I just pulled that out of the motorcycle, and then I received 2 other engines that were out of the frame. And one had pistons, but the cylinder head was stuck. The other one is without pistons, but I think that is the better engine, so I'm gonna move things over. So I'm gonna show you what I'm working on right now, because I need to clean up the pistons, put new piston rings on them, and then I'm going to split the case on one of the engines just to make sure it's clean, make sure everything looks good. I know this case has already been split because I can see they used an orange seal around. And I want to split that and make sure that everything looks good, make sure that the shifting and everything is working properly, just because it's been open for a little while. Not in my garage, in the guy I bought it from. So enjoy. So here's the engine that I pulled out of the red CB1100F. And then these 2 engines I'm going to take apart and use the best components to put one engine back together. So the goal is, at the end of this, have 2 completely running engines that have good compression and no issues. Fingers crossed. So there are a pile of parts that I have sitting over on the side. I believe I do have a good set of cylinder walls. So unfortunately, this cylinder wall was in really poor shape. It was seized. I tried all sorts of things. I tried heat. I tried penetrating oil in here, but it just wouldn't give. So I ended up having to use screwdrivers. I marred up these surfaces, which I knew I was going to do, because I decided that I'm not going to use this block just because it's in worse condition. The paint is in worse shape, and the fact that this was seized means it was probably outside, exposed to the elements, and there could be other issues with this. So I'm going to use this after I clean it up, but you can see I've already removed the pistons. So this is what the pistons look like with all the carbon buildup on top. So I'll just sit them in the carb cleaner for a couple minutes, and then I'll take a brass brush as well as a nylon brush and just scrape it off. And this is what it looks like. It does look like there are a couple incisions on the top of this piston, but it shouldn't cause an issue. And it doesn't have any valves that have impacted these. I have worked with engines that have valves that had impacted when the timing chain broke. So I've removed all the rings. I've cleaned this the best I could inside of each one of these grooves. And then I've kept the order of the pistons 1 to 4, because I'll put them back in the engine in the same order. And you can see I've removed all the rings as well. This is a good example of a piston where the piston ring is seized, right? So you can see this top ring right here is completely compressed. It's not sticking out anywhere. So I'll have to let this sit a little bit, see if that'll loosen, and then this second piston ring will not spin either. So this one is really stuck in there. This is a common problem with engines if there's low compression. Could be something wrong with the rings. Sometimes you can put Seafoam down in there, squirt it into the cylinder, let it sit, and sometimes that will clean it out. But we're going to put fresh rings. We're going to make sure that the pistons are in good shape before we put them back in. So let this sit for a little bit. I'm just going to take a brass brush to the top of this piston. See if I can remove this carbon buildup. These are aluminum pistons, so the brass brush shouldn't scrape them. And then what you can also do is just take a rag, and some of this does come off with just a rag. It doesn't need to be perfect, but you want to make sure there are no big spots that are sticking up. It can create hot spots and things inside of the engine. I'll let this soak a little bit longer. All right, so I'm working through this stuck ring, and this thing is really stuck in there. Just trying to gently go around and pry this up. As you can see, all the corrosion on the ring. All right, there we go. So I'll take that ring and I'll go back through, well, I may take a cleaner one, but I'll spray some carb cleaner in there and make sure I can clean out this entire ring pathway. Just have to get these off, and then I'll clean them up a little bit more. All right, so to get this oil ring off, it's actually in 3 pieces. So we'll get this top part off, like that. And we'll do the bottom one. You just find the opening in the ring. Oh, actually, I may be able to get both of these off at the same time. All right, just like that. Yeah, I really need to make sure I clean really well. So I'll spray a little carb cleaner down here. Go through, remove anything that's rough. All right, so that cleaned up nicely. And then I'll just take one of my other rings and I'll just run it through. Just trying to get out any of the other stuff that's a little tougher. So I've hit a bit of a snag. So the pistons, I started putting the rings on, and one of the things that I didn't do, and I should have when I started, was checking the size of each of the cylinders. So this was the cylinder that it was coming out of. That's a good seal. This one that it's supposed to go in, this is bored out. So stock is a 70 millimeter diameter. A lot of folks will bore out the cylinders to 72, and they'll put an 1123 cc kit in, which is bigger pistons. So these pistons will not work. We will not have any compression because it will not seal. So I cannot use these pistons, and I can't use that head because I've already destroyed it trying to get it out because it was corroded anyway. So what I'll need to do, if I want to get this engine back together, I can either buy a cylinder head that is 70 millimeter, or I can just use this 72 and buy the bigger pistons. They're a little expensive. I think the kit is around, it's anywhere from $600 to $800 if you want the gaskets and some of the other pieces as well. But that will give me the correct size pistons that will fit this cylinder head. At this point, I have the crankcase split, and it was a good idea to do that because there is a bunch of debris and things in the engine, right? So there are metal shavings in here, so we don't want those in the engine. And this gives me an opportunity to go through and inspect pretty much each of the different systems. Yeah, see there's metal in there. So it'll be good to go through and clean out everything. I'll have to remove all of this orange seal. Hopefully it comes up pretty easily. It looks like it is. Because I need these mating surfaces clear, so when I put down the material that it will stick. But yeah, there is a bunch of metal and pieces of debris that I'm going to have to remove. All right, so one piece of the crankcase is clear of the crankshaft. Now I need to go through and clean up all of this that was left over. Right, I can see little bits of metal in there. I can see some bugs. There's There's a bug over there. So a bunch of things to clean. But once we're done, we'll have the confidence that when we put this back together, we know there's not going to be anything lingering in the case. So this is a neat little tool. So this is a universal bolt extractor. And I'm going to use this to get these seized studs out of that engine block. So what's nice about it is as you turn it lefty-loosey, it actually tightens on the bolt. So now what I can do is, it's tightening, it's tightening, it's tightening. Then I'll continue doing this until it grabs the bolt. Work back and forth just a little bit. This is really corroded and stuck in there. There we go. And we broke it loose. Yeah, this engine was outside for a very long time. There we go. And then I'll just use 2 wrenches to loosen this. Great tool. So the next thing I need to do is go through the cylinder head, and I need to remove each one of the valves. I need to inspect it. I need to lap the valves, and then that will give me a chance to clean out the rest of the head. I did go through and remove some of these exhaust rings. I pulled out 6 exhaust rings, and this only has 4 cylinders. So there were cylinders that had multiple of these rings. Sometimes what happens is when folks swap out the exhaust, it looks like there's no ring because they're this dark black color because of the carbon buildup. And then they just mash a new ring on there, and then they wonder why their headers are leaking. So all of those will go in the trash. There's brand new rings that we'll put on when we install the exhaust. So in order to get these valves out, we need to use a compressor, and these are designed for valves. So we'll find the correct one that's the same size, and then we'll push down, and then we'll remove these little pieces of metal. I can't remember what they're called, but these hold the valves in. Once we remove them, then the entire valve will be able to slide out, and then we'll inspect them. We need to make sure they go back in the same spot, and I'm pretty sure the exhaust valves and the intake valves are different. So we need to keep track of all of them. Once they're all out, then I can go through and clean up the rest of this cylinder head, right? You can see the rust that was sitting in here. So we really do need to make sure that there's no issues with these 2 valves and where they're seated. So another little tool that's going to be really handy is this little magnet. So this magnet has helped me in a lot of situations pick up little screws, bolts, springs, washers, things that I couldn't easily reach with my fingers or with pliers. And this extends so that you've got plenty of travel. So once I have this spring compressor in place, then I'll use this to pull these little metal pieces out. Okay, this one looks like it's the correct size. It should fit right around the valve like that. This is a 25. And then what we'll do is we'll screw in each one of these studs. This one has a place to run this through. I'll probably put some tape around it so that it doesn't move. All right, so you want to make sure when you install this piece, it goes over the side where we're going to thread this. So to help keep this in place, I'm just going to wrap tape around it like this. It's always hard using tape with gloves. It's one less thing we have to worry about. Now, what would make this easier is if I had this on some sort of engine stand or engine mount. I may have something I could just sit this up against. So to make this a bit easier, I'm just going to lean it up like that. And then this is going to sit right at the bottom. It's going to put pressure on the valve. Let's do this. And then as I put pressure on the valve, these little valve locks are going to come loose like that. And then I'll use a magnet to grab both of them like that. Don't lose them. And then now slowly release this. We'll leave this right here, and then we can remove these springs. So you have to make sure you keep them in the correct orientation, because these are going to go back in the same way. And then what we can do is we can now push the valve out through the bottom. So now as I'm trying to get the valve out, something I'm noticing is the valve is bent. At least that's what it looks like. So I'm going to get this out and then I'll inspect and I'll see how many of the other valves are bent. One of them's bent. Usually a lot of them are bent. All right, so the valve is out. And yes, the valve is bent. So unfortunately, that means I need new valves. So I need to go through, remove the rest of them, and then we'll see how many we need to buy. All right, that's it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to get notifications when I release new videos, feel free to hit the subscribe button. Take care.